Good afternoon, grasshoppers. Welcome to day 3 and chapter 3. Chapter 3 today is called Mr. Wonka and the Indian Prince. Prince Pondicherry wrote a letter to Mr. Willy Wonka, said Grandpa Joe, and asked him to come all the way out to India and build him a colossal palace entirely out of chocolate. Colossal, that's a good word. Do you remember we've talked about that word before? Really good word for big. Colossal, when it's huge. So we've got him a colossal palace. Did Mr. Wonka do it, Grandpa? He did indeed. And what a palace it was. It had 100 rooms and everything was made out of either dark chocolate or light chocolate. I prefer the light chocolate bits. The bricks were chocolate, and the cement holding them together was chocolate, and the windows were chocolate, and all the walls and the ceilings were made of chocolate. So were the carpets, and the pictures, and the furniture, and the beds, and when you turned on the taps in the bathroom, hot chocolate came pouring out. Oh my goodness, imagine if you went to the bathroom and turned on the taps and it poured out with hot chocolate. I would be so happy. When all was finished, Mr. Wonka said to Prince Pondicherry, I warn you though, it won't last very long, so you'd better start eating it right away. Nonsense, shouted the prince. I'm not going to eat my palace. I'm not even going to nibble the staircase or lick the walls. I'm going to live in it. But Mr. Wonka was right, of course, because soon after this there came a very hot day with a boiling sun. What happens to chocolate when it gets hot? And the whole palace began to melt. And then it sank slowly to the ground, and the crazy prince, who was dozing in the living room at the time, woke up to find himself swimming around in a huge, brown, sticky lake of chocolate. So many adjectives in that sentence. Little Charlie sat very still on the edge of the bed, staring at his grandfather. Charlie's face was bright, and his eyes were stretched so wide you could see the whites all around. Why was his eyes stretched so wide? I think he was feeling quite excited about this information. Is all this really true? He asked. Or are you pulling my leg? If you pull someone's leg, it means you're having a little joke with them. You're winding them up. You're not really telling the truth. It's true, cried all 4 of the old people at once. Of course it's true. Ask anyone you like. And I'll tell you something else that's true, said Grandpa Joe. And now he leaned in closer to Charlie and lowered his voice to a soft, secret whisper. He said, nobody ever comes out. Out of where? Asked Charlie. And nobody ever goes in. In where? Cried Charlie. Wonka's chocolate factory, of course. Grandpa, what do you mean? I mean workers, Charlie. Workers? All factories, said Grandpa Joe, have workers streaming in and out of the gates in the mornings and the evenings, except Wonka's. Have you ever seen a single person going into that place or coming out? Little Charlie looked slowly around at each of the 4 faces, one after another, and they all looked back at him. They were friendly, smiling faces, but they were also quite serious. There was no sign of joking or leg pulling on any of them. Well, have you? Asked Grandpa Joe. I really don't know, Grandpa, Charlie stammered. Whenever I walk past the factory, the gates seem to be closed. Exactly, said Grandpa Joe. But there must be people working there. Not people, Charlie. Not ordinary people, anyway. Then who? Cried Charlie. Aha! That's it, you see. That's another of Mr. Willy Wonka's clevernesses. Clevernesses, I like that word. Charlie dear, Mrs. Bucket called from where she was standing by the door. It's time for bed. That's enough for tonight. But Mother, I must hear. Tomorrow, darling. That's right, said Grandpa Joe. I'll tell you the rest of it tomorrow evening. And that is the end of chapter 3 today, grasshoppers. I hope you've had a lovely day. I hope you saw the sunshine this morning. I moved my computer next to my window this morning so I could get a little bit of the sun on my face. And that was really nice. Put me in a good mood. See you tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed.